Welcome to the Unraveling the Scriptures channel. People are already quite familiar with the topic of ancient giants, especially in the context of biblical stories. A question that often arises is, what happened to the remains of these giants mentioned in the Scriptures? Are there concrete archaeological evidences that can prove the existence of these creatures, known as Nephilim, mentioned in the Bible? In the book of Genesis, the Nephilim are described as powerful beings, the heroes of old, men of renown. The idea of giants walking among humans has been a source of fascination and speculation for millennia. But are there tangible proofs of their existence? In this video, we will explore the most intriguing archaeological findings related to the remains of ancient giants. I will present some of the most surprising evidence found to date and discuss the implications of these discoveries for our understanding of ancient history and biblical narratives. Don't forget to like, share your opinions in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. Genesis mentions the Nephilim both before and after Noah's flood. The word Nephilim is variably translated, interpreted as giants in some versions of the Hebrew Bible, while in others it is left untranslated. According to Genesis 7 verse 23, the Nephilim were destroyed during the flood, yet they are mentioned again afterward, including the Anakim, the Amorites, the Rephaim, also known as the Emim. The Book of Numbers records the account of the spies sent by Moses to Canaan, who described, "We can't attack those people, they are stronger than we are. All the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there, the descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." The Book of Joshua, which narrates the conquest of Canaan in a later generation, also mentions these peoples inhabiting the region, Joshua 14 verses 12 to 15 and Joshua 15 verses 13 to 14. I will be presenting a series of archaeological discoveries related to giant remains here. This topic arouses great fascination and curiosity due to the mystery surrounding this biblical question. Giants are often described as beings with human appearance but may also have a more monstrous appearance. They are notably distinguished by their size, ranging from 3 to 5 meters in height, along with their impressive strength and appearance. The word giant was first recorded in 1297 and derives from the Greek gigantes, from Greek mythology. Before I begin discussing the unearthed remains of ancient giants, I want to emphasize that many times, these discoveries, along with other biblical and mystical artifacts, are suppressed by the media and often forgotten. Many of the skeletons and archaeological findings I will mention are just a few among many that have been discovered but are frequently kept secret. Fossil evidence of giants is often hidden from the public eye, and reports or videos about giant skeletons found in Palestine or Africa are rarely heard of. However, there is abundant archaeological evidence regarding the existence of these giant skeletons. Starting with some evidence, I mention the giant of Castelnau, estimated to be 11 feet 6 inches tall, which is about 3 meters and 50 centimeters. This skeleton was discovered by anthropologist Georges Vacher de la Puig in the Bronze Age cemetery of Castelnau, France, during the winter of 1890. Upon finding this skeleton, Vacher de la Puig was surprised and immediately recalled biblical accounts, especially the story of the giant Goliath. Upon measuring the bone and discovering that it was approximately 11 feet and 6 inches tall, he made an association with the biblical description of David and Goliath. The bone remains of the giant of Castelnau were analyzed at the University of Montpellier by Sabatier and Delage, professors of zoology and paleontology, among other anatomists. In 1892, Dr. Paul-Louis André Kiener, professor of pathological anatomy at the Montpellier School of Medicine, conducted a detailed study of the fragments and concluded that they belonged to a race of extraordinary stature, suggesting, in other words, a link to the ancient Nephilim giants. Now, regarding press reports from 1894, I mentioned the discovery of giant bones in a prehistoric cemetery in Montpellier, France. Among these finds were skulls with circumferences of 28, 31 and 32 inches, along with other bones of gigantic proportions, indicating that they belonged to an ancient race of giants, possibly the Nephilim, with heights estimated at between 9.8 and 13.1 feet. Comparing the skulls suggested that only a person of such height could have such large skulls. These bones were reportedly sent to the Academy of Paris for further study. Upon their discovery, these findings reminded people of the ancient biblical narrative of giants, especially the most famous of them, the giant Goliath. The famous Cetacea giants, also known as Psiduca, are mentioned by Native Americans in North America. The remains, the bones of the Cetacea or Psiduca, belong to a legendary tribe of giants, considered by the indigenous people to be cannibals with red hair and very fair skin. Native accounts describe these giants as having white skin and red hair. In 1911, guano miners discovered the remains of these giants in Lovelock Cave, Nevada. In the autumn of 1911, James H. Hart, one of the early miners to explore the cave, reported finding an impressive mummified body of a man, measuring 6 feet 6 inches tall, with distinctly red hair, at approximately 4 feet deep in the central north part of the cave. Unfortunately, during the first year of excavations, some human remains and artifacts were lost or destroyed. The best preserved adult mummy was boiled and destroyed by a local fraternal lodge seeking the skeleton for initiation rituals. However, the size and nature of the remains were contested by Adrian Mayer in the book, Fossil Legends of the First Americans. The height measurements of the Cetacea giants are often cited as ranging from 9 to 12 feet tall. There are also internet reports considered fantastical and misleading, lacking solid arguments to debunk the authenticity of the article or discovery. For example, there are reports of a giant human skeleton found in Saudi Arabia by an oil company, supposedly kept secret by the Saudi government. This report on the giant corroborates stories found in both the Torah and the Quran. For those who don't know, the Quran also mentions giants, including Og, the king of Bashan, who was supposedly around 15 feet 5 inches tall. Another example of a discovery widely suppressed at the time is the case of gigantic sarcophagi from ancient Egypt found in Saqqara. These sarcophagi are about 13 feet long and 6.5 feet wide, with the coffin itself weighing approximately 70 tons and the lid adding another 30 tons, all made of stone. Inside these sarcophagi were giant bones, but often these findings were suppressed, some were sold, and mysteriously disappeared. There are also reports of a giant finger found in Egypt, considered irrefutable proof of the existence of ancient Nephilim, a bone or mummified remains belonging to a giant. For those interested in the subject, there are several documentaries on the History Channel that cover the giant sarcophagi of Saqqara. In 1988, during a trip to Egypt, Swiss photographer Gregor Spory took the opportunity to visit the home of a family with historical ties to tomb raiders. Located on a farm 100 kilometers from the capital Cairo, Egypt, Spory paid $300 to explore the treasures accumulated over the years. It was then that he made a surprising discovery, a mummified finger measuring an impressive 38 centimeters in length. According to the Swiss, the giant limb was stored in a long box and wrapped in ancient cloths. He described the box as elongated and smelling of mold. Upon encountering the dark brown relic, he was astonished. The finger had cracks and was covered in dry mold. Spory revealed that his heart was pounding with excitement. It was an incredible experience, he told the German newspaper Bild's website. He also mentioned that the Egyptian family allowed photographs of the strange archaeological relic to be taken, placing a note next to it to show its dimensions. The owners of the curious artifact also showed the photographer an alleged certificate of authenticity and an alleged X-ray of the finger, both dated from the 1960s. According to calculations from the German publication, a 38 centimeters finger would belong to a human approximately 11 feet 10 inches tall, which is biologically impossible. Therefore, the photographer's discovery raises discussions about the so-called Nephilim, mentioned in the Jewish Bible as inhabitants of the Canaan region, modern-day Israel, thousands of years ago, before the flood. Gregor Spory did not have further contact with the Egyptian family that owned the strange mummified finger. In 2009, he returned to Egypt in an attempt to verify the story behind this archaeological discovery, but did not obtain new information. During his research, he only discovered the existence of an unfinished giant sarcophagus at the base of the Giza pyramid, but could not connect this discovery to the finger in question. Without a doubt, the finger belonged to one of the giants of antiquity. I hope you all enjoyed this video where I talked about archaeological finds, including skeletons and bones of giants, which prove the existence of these ancient beings. Many of these discoveries have often been suppressed. Thank you for watching so far. May God bless you and see you soon.